Shabbat Shalom.
Shabbat Shalom.
Bruchim Abayim, Bruchim Abaot. Welcome to Shir Hadash. It is such a pleasure to welcome Shabbat together, to welcome Shabbat in community, this very special Shabbat of Parashat Silence. This is not the Torah portion of the crickets, actually. It is a different one. We do have one of crickets, you know. That's one of the 7 plagues. The first 7 plagues. Now, this is Torah portion called Shlach Lecha, a very special Torah portion that was pretty special until this Shabbat, and it's getting even better after that Kami will come up to the Torah tomorrow morning and celebrate her bat mitzvah. So we are celebrating that Simcha, and we are celebrating Shabbat, and we are reading this very special Torah portion in which we talk about journeys and the nature of journeys. And we'll be talking about journeys later on because we are going to be acknowledging some journeys within the community. We will acknowledge some people that are in life, important life transitions and milestones. And we will also acknowledge some beloved members of our community that are moving to different states. And we will pray with them, for them, and wish them Atzlacha, success in all their endeavors. So we'll get into that later on. And in the meantime, we will welcome Shabbat, trying to focus our hearts, singing from the Song of the Songs. We are on page 129. I am my beloved, and my beloved is mine, Dodi Li.
In the blue brackets.
מן המדבר, מזאת עולה מן המדבר. דודי לי בני לו הרואה בשושנים. דודי לי מקוטרת מור מור לבונה, מקוטרת מור ולבונה. דודי לי, ואני לא הרואה בשושנים. דודי לי, דודי. We now invite Kristen and family, whoever you decide is going to be joining you, everybody, maybe in the family, to lead us in the lighting of Shabbat candles that you can find on page 120.
Shir kishan mitzvotav, damin hadlik ner shel Shabbat.
Shabbat shalom, Shabbat shalom, Mevorach everybody. Can say good Shabbos to each other. We'll now turn our Sidurim to page 130 as we start our journey to welcome Shabbat. Lechu now. We try to welcome Shabbat on our feet and with joy. Lechu neranena lahadonai nari aletzur yisheinu nekatma fanav betoda bismirot nari alo nekatma fanav betoda bismirot nari alo. Page 131, Shir Adonai. Shir Adonai, Shir Hadash, Shir Adonai, Kol Haaretz, Shir Adonai, Baruchu Shemo, Basru miyom leyom Yeshuato, Sapru v'goyim, כבודו וכל העמים נפלאותיו. יאללה לי לי יאללה לי 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 יאללה יאללה לי יאללה יאללה לי יאללה לי לי יאללה לי לי Lai 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 lai. Page 132. Adonai malach tagel haaretz ismechu ihim rahavim. Light is sown for the righteous, radiance for the upright. The righteous finds joy in the work of Torah, in the work of connecting with the sacredness of time. And so we say, Mizmor Shir Adonai, Shir Hadash, we sing a new song in which we try to acknowledge the many wonders, the many things that we sometimes take for granted in our routines. Shabbat is an invitation to acknowledge them, to recognize them, and to celebrate them. As we turn our Sidurim to page 134, we try to allow each of these poems, each of these melodies, to become a step in a stairway that help us enter a different reality, the reality of time, the reality in which we get to prioritize our souls, in which we get to celebrate time. During 6 days, once Aaron Shosha Heschel said, we try to conquer the world. On the 7th day, we try to conquer our souls. We try to enter this invitation of acknowledging, meeting, embracing our souls. We're on page 134. Zamru l'Adonai bechino bechol simra Zamru l'Adonai bechino bechol simra Zamru l'Adonai bechinor ekol 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 simra. We'll now turn our Sidurim to page 136 for Psalm 29. It is customary to rise for Psalm 29, but I'm not inviting you to do so. I know that it's not easy for our community to rise. And what I actually want to invite you to do is to think about not what elevates you necessarily physically, but what elevates you spiritually, or maybe what's holding you back from being able to uplift yourself. What's heavy for you in this Erev Shabbat, and maybe to acknowledge that and to set that aside. Page 136, Mizmor LeDavid.
Mizmor LeDavid, Avu l'Adonai b'nei Elim.
Mizmor LeDavid, Avu l'Adonai b'nei Mizmor LeDavid, Avu l'Adonai b'nei Elim. Mizmor LeDavid, Avu l'Adonai kavod ba'od. Avu l'Adonai kavod sha'os. Avu l'Adonai kavod shemo. Avu l'Adonai kavod ba'os. Avu l'Adonai kavod shemo. Hai lai lai, yada lai 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 lai, yai lai lai, hai lai lai, yada lai 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 lai, yai lai lai, Adonai hos. לעמו ייתן, אדוני יברך את עמו בשלום, אדוני יוס, לעמו ייתן, אדוני יברך את עמו בשלום. היי, 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 יאללה, ליי, 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 יאי, ליי, ליי, היי, ליי, ליי, יאללה, ליי, 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 יאי, ליי, 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 אדוני יוס, לעמו ייתן, אדוני יברך את עמו בשלום. אדוני יברך את עמו בשלום. And as we turn our Siurim to page 138, we'll take a moment as we adjust Shabbat, or we try to adjust ourselves in Shabbat, we will also try to adjust the sound. Daniel, thank you for doing the sound. Now, what we are hearing is that the volume of the microphones is going very, very high, and it's starting to rebut. Can you help us reduce that part? Perfect. That's it. That's the faces that you are seeing. Cantor and I are hearing that, and if we are hearing, that means that the people of Israel might be suffering a little bit. So, in order to stop that suffering, we will put that out there. And Daniel is volunteering and taking care of the sound. So we are so grateful that he's here. And this is not an easy task. It takes a courageous character, a brave hero to sit in front of that panel and say, I can do it. So we are very grateful for that. We'll now turn our Sidurim, as Daniel is helping us out. We'll turn our Sidurim to page, here you go, to page 138. For Lechadodi, it is a beautiful idea to think of Shabbat as a bride, as a majestic presence that enters not only the spaces that we create, but our lives, and invites us to shift our attention. We'll sing the first, the second, the fifth, the sixth, and the 9 verses of Lechadodi. By number 9, we would like to invite you to rise and to turn toward the gate, number 9, of the synagogue, as we will welcome the Shabbos bride in our hearts. Page 138, Lechadodi. Lechadodi likrat kala b'nei Shabbat nekavela. Lechadodi likrat kala b'nei Shabbat nekavela. לקראת קהלה, בני שבת נקרבה. לחדורים, לקראת קהלה, בני שבת נקרבה. לקראת שבת לכו ונלכה, כי מכל הברכה. מראש מקדם נהסוכה, סוף מעשה מחשבה התחילה. לחדורים לקראת קהלה, בני שבת נקרבה. לחדורים לקראת קהלה, בני שבת נקרבה. לקראת לקראת קהלה, בני שבת נקרלה, לך דודי לקראת קהלה, בני שבת נקרלה. לא תבושי ולא תקהלמי, מה תשתוכחי ומה תהמי, לך יחסו עניי ימין, ונפנתה הידלתי לה, לך דודי לקראת קהלה, בני שבת נקרלה, לך דודי לקראת קהלה, בני שבת נקרלה. אוי ושלום
עטרת בעלה, גם בשמחה ובצהלה, תוך אמוני עם סגולה, בואי חלה,
בואי חלה, בואי קלה, בואי קלה, בני שבת נקרלה, בואי קלה, בואי קלה, בואי קלה, בואי קלה, בואי קלה, בני שבת נקרלה, בואי קלה, בואי קלה, בואי קלה. לך דודי, לקראת קהלה, בני שבת נקרלה. לך דודי, לקראת קהלה, בני שבת נקרלה, בני שבת נקרלה. And while you are standing, we would like to invite you to remain standing for one more moment. If this is your first time at Shir Hadash, we'd like to know that. Is this your first time at Shir Hadash? Bruchim Abayim, welcome to Shir Hadash. What's your name? Bruchim Abayim, welcome. And you are the brother. That's what you are. So you are brothers with the Johnsons. You are siblings. Bruchim Abayim, welcome to Shir Hadash. Where are you coming from? From Maryland. Welcome. And anyone else who is your first time at Shir Hadash? Yes. Yes, it's your first time. What's your name? Anna, welcome. It's very good to see you. Emma and Ever, welcome to Shir Hadash. Bienvenidos. Bruchim Abayim. And you are coming all the way from Mountain View? Yes, Mountain View. You seem to be from far away, Mountain View. Yes. Anyone else? It's your first time at Shir Hadash and we should know that? No. Okay, so we'd like to invite you to look at each other, take a moment to make eye contact, and if you recognize a face you don't know, make sure that you make a point out of saying Shabbat Shalom to that person, and to go around and take a moment to acknowledge as many people as you can to say Shabbat Shalom. It is a mitzvah to welcome each other. Canto. Canto. will invite you to come back. Ay, lai, 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 likrat kala. Ay, penei Shabbat, penei Shabbat, penei Shabbat nekavela. We'd like to invite you to sit back, to get back to your chairs. Ay, lai, 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 la, la, lai. Ay, la, lai, 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 la, la, lai. Ya, la, la, lai, lai, lai. Ya, lai, la, la, lai. Ya, lai, la, 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 lai. Ay, lai, 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 lecha dodi. Ay, lai, 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 likrat kala. Ay, penei Shabbat, penei Shabbat, penei Shabbat nekavela. We will dedicate to Shabbat one more song before transitioning into Ma'arif. I'd like to invite Kami to join us. You can symbolically hold this microphone for the meantime. We're on page 140. We dedicate Shabbat. One more song.
Do you want the microphone now?
Mizmor shir, shir leyom HaShabbat. 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 We invite you to turn your Sidurim to page 144 for Hetzi Kaddish, the prayer that separates between Kabbalat Shabbat, the celebration, the welcoming of Shabbat, and the evening service of Shabbat. Hayechon uvyomechon uchayei lechol Beit Israel. Ba'agala, ubizman karif. Amen. Yesh merav ha'mevorach, le'olam u'lol ve'amaya, yitbarach. Leila min kol birchata v'shirata, tushvechata v'nechemata, lahamiram ve'alma. Amen. We will now turn our Sidurim to page 146. Please rise for Barchu. Hi, la, 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 la. Hi, la, 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 ya, la, 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 ya, la, la, la. Ya, ya, la, la, ya, la, la. Hi, la, 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 la. Hi, la, 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 la. Hi, la, la, la. may be seated. We'll now continue our service on page 148. We invite you to read together in English. Blessed are you, Adonai, our God, ruler of the universe, who speaks the evening into being, skillfully opens the gates, thoughtfully alters the time and changes the seasons, and arranges the stars in their heavenly courses according to plan. You are creator of day and night, or in light away from darkness and darkness from light, transforming day into night and distinguishing one from the other. Adonai Tzevaot is your name. Ever-living God, may you reign continually over us into eternity. Blessed are you, Adonai, who brings on evening. Baruch atah Adonai, Ama'ariv Aravim. As we get closer to the Shema, our tradition invites us to recognize sources of love in our world and in our lives. We think of a source of everlasting love. So I'd like to invite you to take just one moment to close your eyes, if you feel comfortable doing so, and open your heart, and think about what symbolizes, what looks like, what feels like that source of everlasting love for you in your own world. And if you're able to do so, try to give that love a form or a color. For some of us, it might be an image, a place in our childhood, a landscape, a memory, an anecdote, someone's loving smile. Let that light, let that shape of love surround you as a prayer shawl, as a talit. And once you are surrounded by that love, try to focus for one moment in your breath. As you breathe in, try to take that loving energy into your system and try to recognize maybe the things or the energy that you are carrying and you shouldn't in the Shabbat, and exhale it out. You can give to that energy also a color or a shape. And as you breathe and you bring love, we exhale and separate from what we shouldn't carry. Not tonight. As we are filled with love, when our hearts are filled with love, we say, "Be'avatcha al tasir mimenu leolamim." Dear God, please never remove your love from us. Please never remove from us the ability to recognize, to experience, to acknowledge, to celebrate love. Baruch atah Adonai, Ohev Amo Israel. We will now turn our studim to page 152 for the Shema. Shema Israel, Adonai Eloheinu, Adonai Echad. את אדוני אלוהיך כל מאודיך והיו הדברים האלה אשר אנוכי מצווך היום על לבביך. ולטוטפות בין עיניך, וכתבתם על משושות ביתך ובשעריך. למען תזכרו ויתן קדושים לאלוהיכם. אני אדוני אלוהיכם, אשר הוצאתי אתכם מארץ מצרים, להיות לכם לאלוהים. אני אדוני אלוהיכם, אמת, אדוני אלוהיכם אמת. אמת ואמונה כל סוד וקיים עלינו, כי הוא אדוני אלוהינו, ואין זולתו, ואנחנו ישראל עמו. We continue with the silent reading over page 156. Alternatively, you can choose one of the two readings on page 157 also. When your children witness your presence, they praise your name in gratitude, and they accepted your sovereignty. Moshe, Miriam, and all Israel sang to you together, lifting their voices with joy. Mi chamocha ve'elim Adonai, who is like you, O God? We are on page 158. Mi chamocha ba'elim Adonai, mi kamamocha נדר בקודש, נורא תהילות, אוסף אלה, נורא תהילות, אוסף אלה, מלכותך ראו בניך, בוקע הים לפני משה ומרים, אוי סלי אנו ואמרו, אדוני ימלוך לעולם ועד. Thus it is said, Adonai redeemed Jacob from a hand stronger than his own, from an obstacle, a challenge that seemed to be unbeatable, impossible. Praise are you, Adonai, for redeeming Israel. Baruch atah Adonai, Gaal Israel. And as we conclude the blessing for redemption, for freedom, we turn our Sidurim to page 160. For the blessing for inner peace. Ashkivain. ושמור צאתנו ובואנו לחיים ולשלום מעתה ועד עולם. השכיבנו אדוני אלוהינו לשלום, בהעמידנו שומרינו לחיים. השכיבנו אדוני אלוהינו לשלום, בהעמידנו שומרינו לחיים. ושמור צאתנו ובואנו לחיים ושלום מעתה ועד עולם. ברוך אתה אדוני, הפורש סוכת שלום עלינו ועל כל עמו ישראל ועל ירושלים. Blessed are you, Adonai, Garden of Israel, whose shelter of peace is spread over us, over all your people Israel, and over the city of Shalom, the holy city of Jerusalem. We say, V'shamru b'nei Israel et ha-Shabbat. On page 162, we are reminded that keeping Shabbat, having Shabbat as a part of our lives, it's been a covenant that we have been carrying from generation to generation. And as Hadash once said, it is not the people of Israel that kept Shabbat, but rather Shabbat that kept the people of Israel. As we are about to recite the words of Tfilat Amidah, of our millennial prayer, we take a moment to remember that it invites us to get beyond our grocery list, to think about what we really need, where we really want to focus our energy. So often we feel that we are all over the place. Shabbat is an invitation to find center, focus. We invite you to turn your Sidurim to page 164 and to rise for Tfilat Amidah. We will sing the opening verse together, and from that moment on we will continue silently. You can follow along the millennial words of our tradition, or alternatively take a moment for your personal prayer. In both cases, we invite you and hope that you can find your Tfilah Shebalev, the prayer of your heart. Adonai, שפתי תפתח ופי יגיד תהילתך. Adonai, open up my lips that my mouth may declare your praise. At the bottom of page 180, יהיו לרצון אמרי פי, בהגיון ליבי לפניך, אדוני צורי בגואלי. May the words of my mouth and the meditations of my heart be acceptable to you, Adonai, my rock and my redeemer, עושה שלום במרומיו. The one who makes peace in the high heavens, make peace for us, for all Israel, and all who inhabit the earth. And let us say, Amen. At the end of Tfilat Amidah, we take one more moment to acknowledge beloved people that are dealing with illness. We think of those dealing with illness in their bodies. We think of those dealing with illness in their souls. We think of those dealing with addictions. And we think of those carrying grief. If there is a name that you'd like to share in this Erev Shabbat, we invite you to do so as we go around the room.
Bruce Roberts, Alfredo Maslin, Diane Siegel, Dale Frankel, Scott McKenzie, Catherine Telmore, Mary Engel, Dave Stahl, Brad Kerr, Murray Siegel, Lori Shaken, Sue Leiter, Bobby Miller, Laura Sternberg, Margaret McGuan, Carol Rosenberg, Sue Heller, Bridget Ravitch, Brittany's parents, Franklin Wilson, Helen Kerr, Karen Katzman, Denise Pringle. Page 371.
Oteinu, who bless the ones before us, help us find the courage to make our lives a blessing. And let us say, Amen. Mi sheberach imotenu mekor abraha lavotenu. Bless those in need of healing with refuah shelema, the renewal of body, the renewal of spirit, and let us say, Amen. We wish to all of them, to all of you, to all of us, refuah shlema, complete recovery and well-being. And we say once again, Amen. Shabbat Shalom. It feels like the summer started. So, we say that this Shabbat, we're going to talk about journeys. And this Kabbalat Shabbat, this Shabbat in general, it is about journeys. It's Parashat Shlach Lecha. Now, to be fully honest, when we decided that we were going to do a Shabbat about journeys, it was because all of a sudden we realized that the year was ending and that members of our community were going into different and special journeys. Some members were moving to other cities, and some members might be going into a journey for a year. And some members are celebrating milestones, and we say, wait a second, we have nothing to acknowledge that in the calendar. So we tried to figure out what was the best possibility. And we said, well, July is pretty open. And then we realized that if we do that in July, everybody was going to be gone. So we said, okay, we need to find a time in June. And we say, okay, well, 16 or 23rd, well, 27 might be too late. Let's do it on the 16th. So we put it on the 16th. We checked that it was possible. And then we checked the Torah portion. Now, Because actually this journey doesn't go that well. No, the journey that is described in this Torah portion is not the best journey. So it is about journeys, but not the best journey. So we don't want to make any association between the journeys that you might be undertaking and the one that we are going to be reading and describing in the Torah portion. So it's not about you. Even though it is. It is. I didn't want to acknowledge that. And I guess you know why I'm saying that, but if you don't, I'll catch you up. So what's happened is that there's a call to go and explore the promised land. And now, to begin with, so the Israelites are in the desert over the first 2 years. At the end of this Torah portion, we will learn that they will be for a way longer time. The journey is going to be greater and longer, way longer. But hold back, wait a second. The Torah portion from the very beginning is telling us that something is wrong. Think about this expression, shlach lecha. Like if you want to send them, send them. That's kind of the expression, shlach lecha or taseh lecha. When you add the word lecha to something, we'll talk about some different contexts for this same word. It sounds like, if you want to do it, do it. If you want to go and I told you that land was going to be great. I told you that the experience was going to be just fine. But if you really are doubting, it's fine. If you are really insecure, it's fine. Might be challenging, but go and take a look. And so there are 12 spies that are sent to take a look at the land. And what happens there? If you don't know what happens there, Cami will tell you tomorrow. But I will mention that these spies come and see a variety of things. Things that are, according to the story that they were carrying as the real story of what was going to happen, a land running with. Thank you, Alan, for coming. So, with milk and honey, and as a matter of fact, they will come back with a huge, huge skull with grapes. They will come with lots of grapes, and they will bring wonderful things and gifts that they will gather in the promised land. If you want a graphic of that, tomorrow morning, 10:30 Shabbat, Cami will show you. And they also realize that there are some real challenges, that the people there are Anakim, giants, and that there are huge walls surrounding the city. And they say, so Eretz Ochelet Yoshbeya, the earth is eating their people, which is going to happen actually literally in the next Torah portion, Korach. And we don't know why they're saying that, but the Talmud says that they might be seeing a funeral, and they are seeing a burial. And for that reason, they say that the land might be eating their people. But these scouts come back with a report, and the report is, what? Yeah, it's not great. There's a report that is not that great. But basically they communicate. 10 of them will say, it's not a good idea, right? So the 12 spies will communicate the same facts. 10 of them will say, these are the facts, let's not do it. Let's go back to Egypt. And 2 of them will say, yeah, it's there, we can deal with that. We have the ability to deal with that. We can make it happen. Now, the end of the story is that there's a huge commotion in the people, that the rumor about what's happening or the different things that are in the land gets out of control. The people get very nervous. There's a huge commotion in the camp, and the Israelites end up sojourning for 40 years. Now, what I'm curious about is what's the difference, the substantial difference between the 2 spies that were able to see the exact same facts that the other 10 saw and say, we can work with this, we can deal with this. And the other 10 that saw the same facts that the other 2 saw and said, there is no way we can deal with this. We're gonna give to this 2 tries. And there are no wrong answers, but I have the right one. I'll give you to you know. I want to share an idea that the Talmud brings. I'd love to get some ideas from you. So let's take 2 ideas. Joshua, were you raising your hand? No? Okay, I thought you might be. Anybody want to suggest an idea? Confidence. Say a bit more about that. Okay, the confidence to accomplish things, and do you think is that based on their previous experiences? Maybe or no, like maybe unfounded, baseless confidence or not. Okay, another, thank you, Kristen. Any other idea? Emma? Trusting God, that can be certainly one of the explanations. And they're in communication with each other and with the Talmud. Good news. Now, I want to say that the big difference, generically speaking, between the 2 and the 10, confidence, trusting God, is a mindset. It's just mindset. It's how they're approaching the facts. The facts are the same. Nobody's arguing over the facts. The difference is in the mindset. And in that context, I was thinking about how do you set your mind? How can you influence the way in which you take things before you undertake on a journey? So I went to Talmud, and I checked what the Talmud has to say about what do you pray for, what do you do when you are taking a journey. So in Masechet Brachot, in the tractate of Brachot, of blessings, page 29b, Elijah the prophet said to Rav Yehuda, brother of Rabbi Salah Hasidah, when you set out on a journey, consult with your Creator and then set out. Consult with the Creator, with your Creator, and then set out. The Gemara, the Talmud asks, what is the meaning of consult with your Creator and then set out? Rabbi Yaakov said that Rabbi Hizda said that is the traveler's prayer. You should say Tfilat HaDerech. And Rabbi Yaakov said that Rabbi Hizda said, also in his name, it is not only good advice, but it is also the law, established halacha, that everyone who sets out on a journey must recite the traveler's prayer prior to embarking on his journey. Now, I was really taken by this idea of consult with your Creator. Consult, like, what's the meaning of consult with your Creator? So some of you might know a group of us spent the last couple of days, the last 4 days in Chicago studying at Kellogg, 5 of us. And one of the teachers there, a group of our leadership, one of the teachers there, Dr. Reverend Nicholas Pierce, speaks about something called vocational courage. Vocational courage. Now, it doesn't really sound like Jewish language. Like, we don't often use the wording of, I heard a call, and I answered to that call, and this is how I spending or dedicating my life. Even though it is very present in Jewish sources. It's not how we usually speak in English about how we feel connected to things. But I was very moved by that idea. Very, very moved by that idea. And the reason I was moved by that idea is because the power is on the traveler. So often we feel that we are carried in our journeys. So often we feel or we assess ourselves, I am here because my wife is here. I am here because the rabbi told me to come. I am here because, I need to come because of my children. Like, there are so many times in our journeys, in our lives, that we use a different agent to explain the reason why we are showing up. You could say also, I am here because this is something that I invested in creating with my family. I believe in the value of this or that, and that switches the statement. It changes the story, because then you are not a traveler that is being carried by someone else, but you are telling the story of what you are trying to build. That's looking at the same facts, just with a different perspective, with the perspective of a narrative and a journey that is mine, with the perspective of answering to a call that is not that my wife or my brother or my rabbi. I don't have a dog, and I don't walk my dog because my dog needs to be walked. I have a dog because I like my life with a dog. I like having a dog in my life. It makes my life better. So yes, when I walk the dog at night, I have different levels of energy when I'm doing that. But when I walk my dog, Athena, at night, that's not the story of what my dog or who my dog wants to be. It's my story. It's my choice. It is my narrative. Sometimes when I have lots of energy, and sometimes when I don't have that energy. Still, it's a part of my journey. Now, Shlach Lecha, like someone else sent them. The problem with this parasha, with the spies, is that they didn't own the journey. The biggest challenge is that they didn't feel that they were dealing with something that belonged to them. And they missed right there. So there's a different Torah portion that has almost the same sound at the beginning. Which one? Which? Lechilach in the female genderization of Hebrew. Lech lecha. Yeah, it could be lechilach. I love it. David Friedman coined that. Lech lecha. It sounds the same. It is also, instead of shlach, instead of send, go. Now that's, by all means, the story of a call, of listening to a call and going forth. And so the biggest question is how we live our lives in the realm of going forth as opposed to being sent forth. From lech lecha, from going forth to being sent forth. How we live our lives in a story in which we own our narratives. We tell the story of what or who we are trying to be in this world. So the biggest difference between the two is agency. Just agency. I want to give you a bonus track. And I want to contextualize the idea of acknowledging journeys. One more thing before I go there. For example, I will use you, Pauls, for 1 second. The Pauls are traveling for a year. We're going to miss you very much. And the parents obviously made a decision that they are going to be exploring the world for 1 year. From time to time connecting with Shir Hadash from afar. And I think that the interesting challenge is to think, we had the opportunity to talk a few weeks ago, and I heard each of you speaking about the family journey, but each of you also spoke about their own journey. And I was really moved by that, because at the end of the day, you don't want to be a passenger into someone else's journey. We cannot live our lives being a passenger into someone else's journey. So I think that an interesting challenge, also when we are feeling a little bit of a passenger, because it happens. It happens often that we recognize ourselves as a passenger, to take a moment and think, or invite our partners to think, how they become the drivers of their own narrative. This is the big invitation of this Torah portion, to become drivers of our own narratives, to own our stories. And from that place is that the realm of possibility, of hope, opens before us. The bonus track. Now, why we acknowledge journeys in the community? There's a beautiful, beautiful, beautiful Talmudic idea in Masechet Sotah, in the Tract of Sotah. The sages thought a teacher accompanies a student until the outskirts of the city. A friend accompanies a friend until the Shabbat boundary of that city, which is 2,000 cubits. Don't forget about that. And for a student who accompanies his teacher, there is no measure to the distance he accompanies him or her. The Gemara asks, and how far the student should go? The student is certainly not required to walk with him the entire way. Rabbi Sheshet says, up to a parsa, like some, 4 miles. The Gemara comments, and we say this amount only with regard to one who is not his most significant teacher, but he accompanies his most significant teacher as much as possible, even 3 parasanj, which is like, 10 miles. The Gemara teaches us, the Talmud teaches us, that when we recognize that someone is walking away, walking in some direction, we don't only wave shalom, we say, hey, goodbye. We actually walk with them. We actually accompany them in their journey for some time. And so this is our way at Shir Hadash to walk with you for a moment, whether you are acknowledging a milestone and you are walking into a new chapter of your life and entering a new realm of possibilities and blessings, hopefully as a driver, whether you are going into a journey and you will be connecting with many, many new opportunities and with us from time to time. We want to walk with you. So with these 2 ideas, with the idea of, on one side, owning and driving and being the writers of our own narratives, and on the other hand, the responsibility of community, of walking and acknowledging the walk and the journeys of those that we love and surround us. We will invite those that are somehow participating in a journey or they are going away to join us here. Come. So if you're celebrating a milestone, or if you are going away, if your children are away right now and in a different journey, playing in the youth lounge, you can go and get them, or we can tell them, join us. And everybody, come. We're going to invite you 1 second. Stand here, that there's more space for everybody. And we're going to ask you what you are acknowledging. We'll see if the microphone works. Oh, it does. It's really loud. But we can take care of this in a moment. So, you can get closer. So you want to say your name, where are you going? What are you doing? What's your journey?
We are the Spodeks. And
Nobody knows you, Joy.
No, nobody knows it. And we are leaving this weekend for a month in our motorhome.
Salto, congratulations.
Thank you.
Are you going with her?
I'm going with her.
And who is driving?
I am the driver.
And you're driving.
I drive too.
Sevian, you want to say your name?
My name is Sabian,
Anne?
and me and my family are going around the world for a year.
Wow. And where are you going? What's your first destination, Sevian?
The UK,
The UK? And before going to the UK, where are you going?
New York,
And before that?
Canada.
You're going to Canada. Where are you going in Canada?
We're going to Toronto
Come on, give me the
And-
camp, Sevian.
and Camp George.
You are going to camp in Canada. Wonderful. And
And
what's your name, Aurelia?
Aurelia,
And where are you going? Same place, right?
same place.
What's the place you are looking forward the most to see?
Probably London or Paris.
London and Paris. What do you want to see in Paris?
The Eiffel Tower.
The Eiffel Tower. Okay, that makes lots of sense. You want to say where?
Sure.
Where are you going? What are you doing? What's your journey?
I'm Chris, and we're most excited about Africa.
Africa?
Yeah. Yes.
Aviva, you want to say your name?
On the journey. Hi, I'm Aviva. I'm going with them, and I'm my own driver on the journey. I'm excited about Morocco.
Morocco. And you know what you want to discover in your journeys besides places?
Each other.
You want to discover each other. That's an interesting journey. And
Hi, I'm Julian.
Julian, what are you celebrating?
I'm graduating this week.
Oh,
So
congratulations, Mazal Tov.
thank you.
And that's where you're coming from.
That's my journey. Yeah.
That's your journey.
Yeah.
And now you know where you're going?
No.
That's wonderful.
Don't ask.
Did you get what the Talmud says that you are supposed to do?
Wait, sorry. Say that again.
Did you hear what the Talmud says that you are supposed to do?
No. What?
You consult with your creator.
Yes.
It's time to think. It's time to think and reflect. Congratulations.
Thank you.
And
I'm Zach.
And I'm Hannah.
and you are celebrating?
The journey of being newlyweds.
Oh, Mazal Tov. Congratulations. When your wedding took place?
September 10th.
How is the walk?
It's going great.
It's going great. That's
The
one.
endless walk.
So the tradition also teaches that every single person that starts in a journey is supposed to recite, can you pass it to each other? Is supposed to recite the blessing for it. Can you pass it to each other? You have a lot, I need one. So it's supposed to recite the blessing for the traveler, and we prepare these cards. By we I mean Kristen. So we prepare these beautiful, amazing cards, and if you want to have it in your wallet with the blessing and the prayer for the traveler, you might keep it. So I invite you to rise, and I will give you, I have for everybody later on. I will invite you to rise. I'm going to read the blessing in Hebrew, and then I will ask you, the travelers, to read that in English, okay? יהי רצון מלפניך אדוני אלוהינו ואלוהי אבותינו ואמותינו, שתוליכנו לשלום, ותעשרנו להגיע למחוז חפצינו לחיים ולשמחה ולשלום, ושמור צאתנו ובואנו ותצילנו מכל צרה, ותשלח ברכה בכל מעשי ידינו ובמעשינו יכבדו את שמך. ברוך אתה אדוני, שומר עמו ישראל לעד. And you will say in English,
May it be God's will, our God, and God of our ancestors, that you lead us in peace and help us reach our destination safely, joyfully, and peacefully. May you protect us on our leaving and on our return,
and rescue us from any harm. And may you bless the work of our hands. And may our deeds and merit honor for you.
Praise to you, Adonai, protector of Israel.
and we'll say, שהחיינו וקימנו והגיענו לזמן הזה, ברוך אתה אדוני אלוהינו מלך העולם. שהחיינו וקימנו והגיענו לזמן הזה. ברוך אתה אדוני אלוהינו מלך העולם, שהחיינו וקימנו והגיענו לזמן הזה. היי, 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 Amen. And one more second, we're going to also give you a gift for your journeys. So you can put your cards there, take two, help me out with this. I'm not really good at the technicalities of delivering things, as you have noticed. So we want you to have like a Shir Hadash bag. We want you to have a Shir Hadash bag. We want you to have like some candy, the blessing for the traveling, and a flashlight. And a flashlight. So if you get lost, and the flashlight says Shir Hadash. So if you get lost, you find your way back. Toda Rabah, thank you very much. You may be seated. Not you. We're going to open the ark now for Aleinu Leshabech. And if you're under the age of 13, please remain with us or join us at the Bima to open the ark. Aleinu Leshabech Ladon HaKol Latet Gedula Leotzer Bereshit שהוא שם חלקנו לאחד את שמו וגורלנו להמליך מלכותו ואנחנו קוראים ומשתחווים ומודים לפני מלך מלכי המלכים הקדוש ברוך הוא אמר והיה אדוני למלך על כל הארץ ביום ההוא, היום ההוא, יהיה אדוני אחד, ושמו, ושמו אחד. Please set the curtain first. Shalom. Shabbat shalom. Shabbat shalom. Shabbat shalom, Savior. Shabbat shalom. Shabbat shalom. Shabbat shalom. As we get close to the end of our service, we take a moment to acknowledge mourners in our community. If you are during the first 7 days of mourning Shiva, please rise and share with us who you are remembering. If you are during the first 30 days, If you are during the first 30 days of mourning Shloshim, please rise and share with us who you're remembering. If you are during the cycle of the first 11 months, first year of mourning, please rise and share with us who you are remembering.
My mother, Dr. Grace Deutsch, and she would have been 100 yesterday.
Thank you. If you have a yahrzeit, the anniversary of someone's passing by this time of the year in years past, please rise and share with us who you remember. Enjoy. His memory be a blessing.
The congregation offers its condolences to Joyce Spodek on the passing of her aunt, Joyce Levine. Remember those who have been taken us within this last year: Shirley Israel, Thelma Turner, Marilyn Graven, Alan Feigen, Jonah Anschel, Sharon Lowenbrown, Sheila Bamberger, Dr. Grace Deutsch, Clarissa Glotzer, Stephen Bornstein, Richard Kennemer, Ethel Schenker, Bardat Zatke, Rabbi Talit Shavit, Jack Long, Virginia Larson, Miriam Moore, Bob Sturman, Lenora Wayne, Adam Richard Spilka, Shlomo Isips, Howard Levine, Barbara Lombard, Claire London, Drago Herman, Merle Greenwald, Samuel Greenwald, Anita Kamila, Bryce Lyon, Edna Stone, Miriam Davis, Lauren Janovich, Janet Wool, Charlene Kilgore, Ezra Satki, Gideon Hoffer, Alvin Kramer Siegel, Vlasta Vizinovich, Galina Butolina, Karen Imbalzano, Lillian Berman, Robert Bruce Myers, Abraham Karras, Scott Safadi, Norman Green, Marilyn Silverman, Leslie Heinall, David Green, Jeannie Porish, Estelle Abrams, Spencer Caney, Arthur Cherdak, John Ivers, Marilyn Handelman, Kay Dameron, Nira Marone, Andrea Cameron, Zeba Feruzin, Rosella Newton, and those who died at this season in years past: Anita Weiss, Dorothy Statt, Douglas Statt, George Gelber, Helena Sobel-Feigl, Linda Dorfman, Louis Alois Wescher, Marie Kuhn, Nassim Dovek, Paul Schatz, Richard Timmons, Rose Dorsey, Wolfgang Levy, Linda Sherry.
You can support our fellows who are standing or sitting, joining us with your voices or your hearts for Kaddish Aveli, Mourner's Kaddish on page 598. התגדל והתקדש שמי רבה, בעלמא דברה חירותה, וימליך מלכותה, בחייכון וביומכון, ובחיי כל בית ישראל, בעגלה ובזמן קריב, ואמרו אמן. יהא שמי רבה מבורך לעולם ולמי עלמיה. יתברך וישתבח, ויתפאר ויתרומם ויתנשא, ויתהדר ויתעלה ויתהלל, שמי דקודשה בריחו. לעילה מן כל ברכתה ושירתה, תושבחתה ונחמתה, תמירם בעלמה, ואמרו אמן. יהא שלמה רבה מן שמיה, בחיים עלינו ועל כל ישראל, ואמרו אמן. עושה שלום במרומיו, הוא יעשה שלום עלינו ועל כל ישראל, ועל כל יושבי תבל, ואמרו אמן. May the memories of your dear ones be always a blessing in your life. יזכרם ברוך. You may be seated.
It's my pleasure to invite up Aviva, our last board, almost last board, but official from the board. Tomorrow's the family.
Shabbat Shalom. I'm just going to highlight a few announcements, but the back of your handout has more information, so feel free to check it out. Tomorrow morning, June 17th, Saturday, at 9:30, we have Torah study, followed at 10:30 by the bat mitzvah of Cammie Johnson that we're all very excited about. So be here tomorrow morning. Wednesday, June 21st at 11:30, there's a Shir Hadash board meeting. Members are welcome to attend. Cool. Saturday, June 24th at 9:30 is Torah studied, followed at 10:30 by the bar mitzvah of Amitai. I can kind of see through Matt's head. So there's a Kiddush lunch following at 12:30. All are welcome to attend, so please join next weekend in this great celebration as well.
2 RSVP.
And please RSVP, so we can have the right amount of food. Friday, July 7th, we'll have Friday Shabbat out on the patio. It's flip-flops Shabbat. Beach towels, wine and cheese, games. with
Can we
the
take a
kids.
moment to talk about that?
Yeah, please.
So we coined a Shabbat experience that we are confident that is actually difficult to pronounce, not only for me. Can you say that? Flip-flop Shabbat? Flip-flop Shabbat, can you say that? It's really difficult. But actually the beauty about flip-flop Shabbat is that it's very simple. Very, very simple. Not to say, but to experience. So I'll just say a few words about that. We're going to start earlier a little bit. We're going to get outside. We'll have some wine and cheese and some games for children to come early and to have the opportunity to play. At 6 p.m. we'll have services. Services will end as late as 10 and 7 minutes. And then we'll have a catered dinner. And if you are not participating in the catered dinner, you can bring your own dinner. So we'll have a wonderful, wonderful gathering and Shabbat experience throughout the summer, in which we will also welcome Rabbi Walden. And there's merchandising for the flip-flops Shabbat. For example, if you want to purchase after Shabbat the flip-flops of flip-flop Shabbat, you can do that on Monday when we email that to the community. And we also have beach towels that you can bring to flip-flops Shabbat. And clergy will be wearing flip-flops, the first flip-flops Shabbat.
So that was July
No,
7th, in case you missed it. July 7th for flip-flops Shabbat and service wear required with flip-flops. Okay, dinner will be served after. Saturday, July 15th, as Rabbi Nico said, we're welcoming Rabbi Michael Walden, and so there'll be a 9:30 a.m. Torah study, followed by a 10:30 a.m. Shabbat service. Rabbi Michael and Rabbi Cantor DeVore will lead a conversation about how our community handles addiction and recovery. So it should be a meaningful day. Thank you so much.
Thank you very, very much.
Shabbat Shalom.
We'd like to invite Max now to lead us in Kiddush that you can find on page 122. בערב ויבוקר יום השישי, ויחול השמיים בארץ בכל צבאם, ויחל אלוהים ביום השביעי, מלאכתו אשר עשה, וישבות ביום השביעי מכל מלאכתו אשר עשה, ויברך אלוהים את יום השביעי ויקדש אותו, כי בו שבת מכל מלאכתו, אשר ברא אלוהים לעשות. Raise your cup. סברי חבריי וחברותיי, please rise. Go. And Baruch atah Adonai אשר קידשנו במצוותיו ורצה בנו בשבת קודשו באהבה וברצון הנחילנו זיכרון למעשה בראשית. מצרים קיבלנו בחרת עם כל העמים בשבת קודשך באהבה וברצון המחלתנו. השבת. L'chaim, we make sure that nobody leaves this space without being acknowledged, without a blessing. We invite you to stand next to your loved ones. And if you are on your own tonight, we invite you to get close to someone, to make eye contact, to make sure that you are not only acknowledged, but you acknowledge someone. As we, at the end of Shabbat, we take a moment to acknowledge our creations. We take a moment to acknowledge the things, the love that we are bringing into the world. We say, may God inspire you to be like the loving parents of the house of Israel, Yasimchem, Elohim, Kefraim, Bekemenashe, Kesar, Rivka, Rachel, Belea. And we say to all of them, to all of you, Yabrechechem Adonai be'ish merechem. May God bless you and protect you. Yair Adonai panav elechem bichunekem. May God's light shine upon you and may God be gracious to you. Isa Adonai panav elechem. May you find within you God's presence always. And may God give you the ability to write your own narratives, to tell your own stories, to share your stories with beloved people, but to feel that you own it. May God grants you with its most beautiful gift, the gift of wholeness, the gift of shalom. V'yasem lachem, v'yasem lanu, to all of us. Shalom. Adonai os le'amo iten. Adonai yevarech et amav b'shalom. May God bless all its peoples with the blessing, with the courage to be creators, makers of peace. Shabbat shalom, everybody. Shabbat shalom umevorach. Shalom Rav al Israel Amcha Tasim Leolam. Shalom Rav al Israel Amcha Tasim Leolam. Ki ata hu melech Adom lechol hashalom. Ki ata hu melech Adom lechol hashalom. Shalom Rav al Israel Amcha sim leolam. Shalom Rav al Israel Amcha sim leolam. את עמך ישראל בכל עת ובכל שעה. שלום על ישראל עמך שים לעולם. שלום רב על ישראל עמך, תשים לעולם. תשים לעולם. Shabbos, Shabbat Shalom. Oh, the microphones.